there's been some reporting about this, but it would be great to hear about it from you. When did the U.S. first begin tracking the balloon? Was it when it first took off from Hainan Island?
So that's a good question. I know that the Pentagon has answered that before, actually laid out a timeline of when that all occurred. I don't have that in front of me to share with all of you, so I would point you to the Pentagon.
There were reports that the FBI searched the University of Delaware and the president's papers there for his time in the Senate. Did the president consent to that search?
So I understand the questions. I know there are going to be a few more questions about that. I'm going to say from here, as I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
On the searches, regarding the searches again at the University of Delaware, is there any other office space President Biden kept his records from the time he was vice president to now?
Again, I'm going to respond just the same way I just did with Zeke, is we're just going to continue to be consistent here. And I'm just not going to respond to or give comment and refer you to the Department of Justice.
Okay, can you say the prompt of the search?
Again, I will refer you to the Department of Justice.
Can you speak to how confident he is that he's going to feel up to it? He's going to feel good getting up in the morning to do this job, very grueling job, not just today or even in 2 years to finish out this term, but in 6 years from today, when he would obviously be 86.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you asked me if he's going to be up to it. Yes.
No. I asked, does he express how confident he is?
I mean, look, we get this question a lot, as you all know, and this is a president that works day in and day out, in a grueling fashion, with a grueling schedule, and delivers. And let's not forget, it is interesting that we get this question about this president, who has had one of the most historical presidency in his first 2 years than any other president, almost any other president. And there's a long list that I can go through. I know you guys don't want to hear me go through them at this time, but we have talked about them over and over and over again. And it is surprising that we get this question.
Nikki Haley, who is now running for president, she is calling for mental competency tests for politicians 75 and up, clearly a dig at the current president. In her first speech, since announcing her run, she said America is not past our prime, it's just that our politicians are past theirs. We won't win the 21st century if we keep trusting politicians from the 20th century. Does the president have any response to that statement?
We've heard these types of attacks or remarks before, and if you go back to 2020, they said that the president couldn't do it in 2020 and attacked him there, and he beat them. In 2021, when he entered the White House and worked to do his best to turn everything around with the economy tanking, and guess what? They turned around the economy, and he beat them there too. In 2022, when everyone was talking about a red wave and saying that we were going to get another shellacking, if you will, the president beat them at their own game there as well. And so I don't know, maybe they've forgotten, maybe they're forgetting the wins that this president has had over the last couple of years, but I'm happy to remind them anytime.
On Nikki Haley's comments, I heard you respond to what she said, but more broadly speaking, if the American public decides or it becomes clear that there's a broad desire to have a competency test for all of the candidates above the age of 75, would the president submit to that?
I'm just not going to get into hypotheticals from here. Go ahead.
Has the intelligence community now concluded that it likely began heading east but veered off course, and that's why it ended up traversing the United States?
So look, I want to be really mindful here because I've heard this before. I don't have any specifics to share on that. You're talking about the Hawaii and the Guam piece to this. So I just want to be super careful there, and I would probably refer you to the Pentagon. What we think that they are doing is they are deflecting. They're coming up with excuses and trying to spin this. And at the end of the day, their surveillance balloon was indeed in our airspace, and they said it was, as you all know, they said it was a potential weather balloon, which it was not, and so it's been very clear. All of the American people, the entire world saw what China did, and it was irresponsible.